channel.
No, it isn't. Boom! What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, alongside the G.
Rich homie Sean, High Performance Nutrition.
God, I'm so glad that name stuck. Anyway, I had a question this week about negatives and their benefits and negatives.
Yeah.
To being incorporated in a program. Now, I always like negatives because you could do more weight, elicits more damage to the muscle, and allows you also to do it's an intensity technique,
right,
where at the end of a set, when you can't do a positive, since you're stronger on the negative, you come down nice and slow. That's the bro side of it. Basically, it allows me to add an intensifier to my set. Now, Sean, he's educated in this. So, Sean, what are your thoughts on negatives?
Well, when we talk about negatives, it's an intensity technique. And when you talk about techniques such as this, when you talk about your training, when we talk about progressive overload, we just were discussing this in the gym this morning.
Yeah.
You can do more sets. You can do more reps. You can lift heavier weight. These are all methods of increasing volume or intensity with the weight. Negatives are another intensity technique where you're controlling time under tension, aka TUT, for a longer period of time with the same resistance to it. So you're going to do, like Mark said, more muscular damage and elicit a greater growth response. And when you have loaded negatives in a static hold, which you could employ too, you can, there's some science relating to that and glycogen uptake post-workout. So it's a really cool way to add intensity to the workout where maybe you're not ready to step up that weight to the next level, but if you can do a few more controlled negatives, then that's going to prepare you. It's going to add to your ability to increase that weight next time. So incorporating negatives as an intensity technique is a solid way to continue making gains.
Absolutely. And I look at it like, just as I look at extended sets, just as I look at forced reps, just as I look at drop sets as an intensity technique.
Right.
It does have its place for powerlifting, has its place for hypertrophy.
Yeah.
It has its place everywhere.
Actually, you know what? One other thing. If you're building your form, doing negative only sets is probably the best way to do it. Meaning, like, if you do a bench press and you're having trouble with your bench, most of the time people's issue isn't on the positive part of the motion. It's on the negative. They go down in the wrong range of motion. So if you're trying to build a motor pattern, which is all practice and habit, you need to work that negative. When I was rebuilding my flat bench press, I just practiced heavy negatives. I was doing 2 and 3 rep sets with weight that I could probably do 10 reps with normally, but I was doing 5 to 10 second negatives where I was really feeling and understanding the range of motion and motor pattern I needed to establish.
Tucking your elbows, think about it.
For maximum strength.
You could really, I actually did those with lighter weight. I wasn't going for hypertrophy. I was going for more brain pattern. A lot of people don't realize a lot of what we do is brain pattern.
And that's where negatives can be extremely valuable.
And that's why my daughter, who's learning how to kettlebell swing and squat in early age, their ability, I think it was like 10,000 reps for adults and like 100 reps for like kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So if you could start brain patterning your kids, it's all conjecture. There's so much we don't know about it.
Right.
But you're looking at mapping your brain into proper patterns of movement. That's why if you've been doing bad form for so long, it's so difficult to get the right form. And like you were saying, negatives can help you achieve that better form.
Right. And so it may, there's a 10,000 rep number that we talk about in terms of ingraining a motor pattern. Who's to say that that's not actually based on a regular repetition where you have a 1 to 2 second negative and a 1 to 2 second positive? What if you were to double or triple that time for each negative? Who's to say it wouldn't occur much faster? I believe it does. I believe if you slow down your repetitions, if you're trying to learn a motor pattern, you'll solidify it 2 to 3 times faster.
Well, 10,000 reps versus 3 times. If your reps are 3 times slower, I mean, that could cut it in half. I don't know. I mean, it's all conjecture, but it makes some logical sense.
Right, it's logical, right? Because you're feeling out and you're allowing your neurons and your muscle fibers to better understand the motion that you're asking them to undergo. You're allowing, it's like basically if you're trying to memorize a set of numbers, you're letting your mind see those numbers for a longer period of time before you hide them, right? So it's gonna click faster. You're gonna ingrain that motor pattern faster than you would with normal repetitions.
There you go. So there's the answer on negatives. They're not bad, they're good, but use them for the right reasons.
Wisely.
Don't overdo them. They're very taxing on the CNS.
I don't particularly like negatives as a means of going over the top with your weight, trying to.
I just see someone tearing a pec. I can just feel that.
That's not the way to use negatives, guys. Use them smart.
I agree. Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, alongside Rich Homie Sean.
High performance nutrition.
Because doing negatives, well, that's not a game.